Looks like I'm live. Hey, what's up, guys? This is TBone here. How are you doing? Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. And so it is the beginning of a new season. We just finished the Entomb season, and we're now on to the new Everflowing Nile season, where the seasonal reward at the end of it is going to be a new skin for the Afterlife Keta. Okay, and so with with Gem Crush now in place, we're going to be seeing more and more of the mechanics that are going to be geared toward it. And this time they're calling it the first PG5 trio. Took me a little while to figure out why they're calling it a trio, because they're adding PG5s to the ultra rare card. All right, so they've already had the ability to create Power Gem 5s from their ultimate form, and now also, and then with their relic, and now also the Master Collection card or the ultra rare card is able to do so. Okay, and so I guess what we should do, in keeping with the spirit of keeping this concise, I'm gonna start by taking a look at some of these cards, and we'll talk about the cards themselves and the skills, etc. And then you know what? Let me do something real quick here. This is one thing that I forgot to do for the stream. Apologize, because here you go. This is the one that I needed to change. Apologies. There you go. Now it's showing up. Okay. So anyways, we'll take a look at the ultra rare card, ultimate form card. This is the Sumerian Pantheon, and this is all immortal killer. So with it being an immortal killer event, you can bet that we're going to be seeing a lot more of the unit area. It's basically a meta that is here to stay, and so we're gonna take a look at the cards here, right? So the ultimate form creates Power Gem 5s, right, as a default, and creates 6 of them, and that's it. There's battle skill itself, very simple, very plain, just 6 power gems total. And then it has, again, 2 passives. The first one will create additional 4 power gem 4s if there are 15 or more water gems on the board. And then if you get hit, so in a commander event that's going to be every turn, it will create 1 power gem 5, and then for every 100 immortal intensity, you will create more. And so as the turns go on, every turn you should expect to passively create more power gems just from getting hit. And so the spell is fear. So we are yet once again seeing fear in our event, and it's one of my most despised skills, to be honest with you. I just feel like it never gets dispelled. Fear is just one that is really, really difficult to dispel. I just want to say hi to everybody in the stream here. So I'm not going to be able to say hi to everybody, but we're going to go through the cards. We're going to go through tiers, and hopefully I can demonstrate a little bit, and we'll talk about some of the cards that are available, and we'll also talk about some of the updates for the event. So Marduk is the Master Collection card, right? So this card also creates 6 Power Gem 4s. And then it also will passively create power gems if there are at least 15 or more on the board. And so this is 1/2 of the ultimate form skill. And you can see here it doesn't create power gem 5s, but the ultra rare card does. And that is the Omega Mother Goddess. So this card will create Power Gem 5s passively. So the battle skill, again, this is unique. So they're doing this thing where the ultra rare cards have one unique skill that isn't part of the ultimate form, and this unique skill is going to be the immunity. So you become immune for damage, and it dispels all buffs, not debuff, buff. So it will dispel things like fear. It will dispel counterattack. It will dispel dodge. It will dispel blind, and it will dispel armor. So armor and armor as well as fear are the 2 buffs that we're going to have to deal with this event. And the ultra rare card will be able to dispel them all. But this skill is not part of the ultimate form, which is slightly annoying. And so has a 5-turn cooldown. And so with any immunity skills, they generally keep it at 5. Although I think they could have kept it at 3, and that would have been okay. But that is the skill here, and the passive ability will create Power Gem 5. So here it is an ultra rare card that now can also create Power Gem 5s, so they're getting stronger. Okay, and so I'm just reading about the initials here. OMG. Yes, it is pretty funny there. So the passive has a 1 turn cooldown because you can do this every turn. Okay. And then if we take a look at some of the other cards that we have here, so going through the shiny collection, we have the event card, which is the Purest Ocean Enki. And this card, very much like the Master Collection card, creates 4 Power Gem 4. So instead of 6, it creates 4. And then it creates an additional 4 Power Gem 2s if there are 15 or more Water Gems on the board. So again, as far as event cards go, this is not too bad. It gives you, depending on the board size there, it gives you up to 8 Power Gems. And then I guess, depends on how they all crush, etc. So event cards, not too bad. More of a affordable option for most. And then we have the support card, which is called Nimma, Lady of the Heavens. And this card is a pure healing card, so it heals for 10,000% of the recovery. So you can generally expect to fully heal yourself with this. And then with the passive ability, it creates water gems whenever you get hit. So every time you get hit in a commander event, it's going to be every single turn, you're going to create 6 water gems. And so feels like a deck that has a lot of abilities to create gems, but we know that with Gem Crush, you have to think about it a little differently. It's not necessarily a good thing to just fill up the board with gems all the time because they all just end up getting crushed into the middle. So you're going to have to think about using shields to help you not crush them, or add in, a different affinity in order to break them apart, like I've shown in the past. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 4 tiers, and hopefully we will be able to get something worthy to showcase. Typically in water events, that's, at the very beginning of the season is usually when I don't get very good pulls, and I don't have coins to fall back on. So we'll see what happens here. Ideally, if we get something, I'll be able to showcase it with sort of some of the ideas I have. Otherwise, what we can do is I can talk to you about at least some of the other options that you could go with right off the bat. So we're going to go 4 tiers. This is the first one right here. And don't forget that the Revival Revolt this time, I think, will also include the deck for Dorothy, I think. So if you missed out on that event, then you could at least get that. I have the Armor Automaton. I'm hoping to be able to get Dorothy because that is a really good ultimate form. It's a really good deck overall. So Convoluted and Deep, kind of similar team to Wave Warriors. Yes, very similar in that regard. Okay, so far, 2 tiers as expected. Got the support card, so we're gonna go for a relic. And here's the interesting thing with the Gem Crush now the way it is, I don't really know that event relic is that important. Just because you kind of don't want to break the shields. The shield's actually very friendly to you. It's actually a good thing because Gem Crush, as much as I think that it's good to be able to get the powered up power gems, it's more effective to get your upgraded power gems by overriding it, right? By upgrading constantly. So it's actually better to not crush them. It's one of those things where we've discussed this to death last event, and it's going to be the same, right? To get the maximum damage, you have to make sure not to not crush. So there you go. Right. All right. So we're going to 4 tiers. We're going to get our event card. And so far, no gold cards, right? No Master Collection card or no Ultra Rare card, unfortunately. So it's going to be a sad pull. So we get my event card, and that is going to be it. So that is a very, very sad pull. Nothing but guarantee. I didn't even get an extra bonus support card there. And so I will probably look for a way to incorporate the event card in there, but it's not really better than what I have anyway. And so if we take a look at the options now, right? So some of the things that you could think about, knowing that it is an immortal killer, the first thing you should look for is just, change your filter to just looking for immortal cards. And you can see here, we're not going to want to use the fire card. And we definitely want to look for a way to incorporate our unit area. We're probably going to put in golems, although, there's another thing that I was thinking about where you could incorporate the sentinels Starborn Sentinels. I'm still going to play around with that. But for now, let's say we go with this, right? And now let's go with the water cards. So Wave Warriors is indeed the card to go with. And I'm trying to decide whether it's better to have, two sharks or one shark, one ultra rare card, and one ultimate form. But basically, the idea here is you basically have two decks that behave exactly the same way in this case. Okay, they both have immunity, and they both passively spawn gems, and then the ultimate form will spawn gems depending on whether or not there is that immunity status. And so in this particular case, you're gonna actually want to activate both your I think you're going to want to activate the Enchanting Empress at the same time as you do with your unit area, just so that you can get the additional water power gems. It's just that what really sucks here is that this has a 5-turn cooldown, so they don't line up very well. They don't line up, and it doesn't give you any immortal bonus. Okay, so the bonus is really just going to be coming from unit area here. This is one option. Another option that you could go with, which I know some of you might also go with, is if we go into the codex, take a look at the card Water Chaotic. So Sirens, I think Headstrong Sirens, or if you don't have Headstrong Sirens, then it's probably the Lioness of the Sea. This card gives you, 1300% attack boost for a Chaotic Killer. So if you have the Event Relic, then you could, if you have the Event Relic, then you can go ahead and, not Relic, Event Ultimate Form, then you can use that to power up your deck. Okay, so looks like the raffle came through. I wasn't saying anything about it because I wasn't sure if it was going to show up or not. But this raffle is a little bit different. I didn't do it last time, and I wanted to make sure I do this. So just to be clear, the rules here are you have to be living in the U.S. for this one. This is the giveaway, right? Do you remember when Jeff did a video and he talked about the popcorns? Well, I got one, and there are two that I'm able to give away, so I'm going to be able to select two winners, but I'm not going to be the one shipping. The vendors that are going to be shipping it will not be able to ship outside of the US, and so I just want to be clear. Please only register for this if you are if you're living in the US, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get it. And so that is the giveaway here. So if you live outside of the US, I'm sorry, apologies, but it's out of my control. They will not be able to ship it outside of the US. All right. And so this was something I meant to do last time. I didn't get to do it, so I apologize. And because I have chroma keys right now, all the greens is gone. So this is actually Dojin. All right. I have a better picture for it, which I'll show, but it's not there. So it looks kind of black right now, but it's basically a canister, and inside there's popcorn. So it was, a way to celebrate Gem Crush. Like I said, there is two that I'm able to give away, and I wanted to, make sure that you guys get a chance to go for it. Anyways, so to wrap this up, basically, the thing that I think will be the main play here is you want to look for a dual affinity deck. So unit area, high performance unit area is definitely going to be the way to go. And what's nice here is because it's an immortal event, you might even be able to bring in the regular unit area so that you can get double boost. Okay, so you can get unit area and high performance unit area for a total of 5,000% damage boost. Go with an event ultimate form, and basically try to upgrade all of your gems. Now, another thing that you might want to consider is, like, you may not want to do this. Like, instead you might want to look for a card that can create more, like a card that has more power gem spawning abilities, that is, regardless of whether it's commander or slayer. So for example, a really good card that spawns a lot of power gems, for example, is a combat ready crew, which creates up to 8 power gem 8s, like as a battle skill. So like you want to be able to activate it so that you can use it. And this is a noble killer though, so it's not a immortal killer card. But let's take a look and see what we have for immortals. So immortal killer wise, we also have the Apex Predators. This is another option. So it is Slayer card, but it's Immortal Killer, so it does get the bonus boost if you're using Immortal Killer Leader. And this is a card that, excuse me, it creates two based on this one's a little bit weird because it only creates based on the number of power gems on the board. All right, so it creates two for every 5 on the board, and then it increases attack based on that. So this is not a great spawner per se, but what's a really good spawner would be excuse me, Dorothy will be a good spawner, right? Dorothy will be a really good spawner for the following turn. There's a lot of options when it comes to water, but Apex Predators, it's an immortal card, not a great power gen spawner because it also only spawns power gen 1, so you're not really going to want to use that. And so it's not a great choice. It's just that if you don't have anything else, this is something that you could consider. Let's see. But I think that Combat Ready Crew is a good choice. True Luminescence can also create up to 9, but you need Water Commander skill points, so you need to have relics to help you here. 6 turn cooldown, but this is going to take a long time to get up to, so it's going to be difficult. Some of the other water cards that I think that are good for this. So here I have the Armor Automaton, but it really only boosts beast killers, and it doesn't create a whole lot. So you want to find a card that can give you the most, and really Wave Warriors is going to be it. Like Wave Warriors will create 4, and then if Celebrating, then it doubles it. So that's why you're gonna want to use, I guess you're gonna want to put in the Enchanted Empress in there so you can maximize the number of power gems you have, right? So Dorothy is going to be a good choice, and besides that, I think I don't have a lot of the more recent water ultimate forms for Commander, especially just because I haven't been able to pull much of them. But I would say that if you were to get any of the cards for this particular event, definitely you want to try and work them in also. And if you don't have, here's the critical thing: if you don't have any ultimate forms that do not give you any damage boost, then you're not going to get as much of a damage output from your sirens. So just be mindful of that, right? The reason why these decks work is because you have a card that can give you attack boost as well as the bonus damage boost. All right, so let's take a look and see which card would be ideal and whether or not this is a card a deck that's worth chasing after. It's so hard to say nowadays, to be honest with you. Like, the value of the event deck nowadays is all about the utility. Like, so you use it to power up something else so that it can give you the bonus. In this case, you may want to use this to boost up your sirens, or you might use this alongside with unit area just so that you can get a ton of damage output. This one has the ability to create, basically 10 power gems just by the battle skill, right? Depends on the number of water gems on the board. And so this one can still overwrite a bunch of power gems that's on there. So I think that's okay. It's hard to say whether this is a must go for. It feels like, to be honest with you, it's hard for me to say you shouldn't chase this deck, because if you want to succeed, if you want to be successful, then you kind of have to. And because of the update they have in the newsfeed, they're introducing Ruby rarity in Commander now. So just like previously, so what they have now is after Platinum, there's Ruby. Then after Ruby, then there's Diamond and Corellium. And they said that they've increased the Diamond and Corellium bosses difficulty because we needed it. Because we needed the health to be higher, right? We needed to have it more difficult because we were killing it. That's why we increased the health, all right? There's no other reason, but obviously everybody were killing it with support cards and event cards, and so it is necessary to get this new tier. So, not sure about you, but I'm looking forward to trying it out against Corellium and seeing how badly I'm going to fail. But with the way that the power gems, upgrading each other, like the damage boost, who knows? It might be okay. Can't be sure, because like I said, Gem Crush is still so new. Everything is so volatile. can't be sure. So that's why my recommendation is, I know that you need to have the event deck to be truly successful, but even with the event deck, it's not a guarantee unless you have the right recipe. So don't go beyond your means for the deck. Wait until other people can try it out and provide their feedback before making a decision. My personal feeling is, without event deck, you might as well just kind of wait and see, and try and get lucky, but definitely don't chase too much. They did also, though, say that mission, enemy, and boss health for this event has been decreased to previous historical levels. So it's very contradicting. No one knows what they're trying to say. I certainly don't have any clue whether we're going to have higher health or lower health. But all I can say is there's one more in between now, so I think it's going to be more difficult. We will see. Okay, and so that is going to be this event here. Unfortunately, couldn't show you how this deck works, but it's pretty straightforward. The thing to watch out for is that we have to watch out for fear. And so the thing that I just realized is I didn't talk about what to do if you need to encounter fear with a deck like this, right? So if you have so these are the cards that are available here, and all of them really suck, right? I have some of the older stuff, but really it's going to be difficult if you don't have any of these cards. So if you don't use the event deck, fear is going to be really, really difficult. So you're going to have to be creative here. And some of the cards that we've seen in the past that dispel fear, like, you might want to consider bringing them in. It's going to decrease your overall damage, but when fear hits, it's just going to kill your deck anyway. And so you have to think about fear. Fear is the one that is really, really important. Armor is another one that is really frustrating to deal with too, because at higher levels, you can't even dent it. And so there are more cards that can dispel armor. So like Keta, for example, is an option. Regular area is going to be able to dispel armor, as well as Sparta. So at least if you're using Sparta is another option. So if you're using the area option, that is something that you can consider, right? So if we look at Dark, so Dark has at least a couple of cards that you might be using already to dispel armor. If you're using water cards, then Keta is going to be a good option to dispel armor. But basically, we have these cards that are going to be really, really difficult to deal with. There are other cards that don't explicitly dispel armor, but they have ability to say when you cast it, it heals, and then you dispel it. Something like what is it again? Baleful Bride, for example, is one. I can't remember off the top of my head which other cards do that. There's a question about whether Dragoons can work or not. Like, if you have Dragoons that give you the dispels and whatnot, like, honestly, it's really, if you don't have the cards that can dispel those two really difficult buffs for enemies, then use what you can. And some of them will get bonuses from commander cards because they are Dragoons of a commander event. And so you can certainly think about that also. And so yeah, so I would say that, this event is going to be an event where we're going to have to try out different ideas, different things. It's just that fear and armor are both going to be really difficult to deal with. That's the only thing that I think is really unfortunate. Yeah, so like if I were to use the K-pop deck, at least I have something against fear, but I'm not using that. And let's see. And against fire, well, there are more options. Like there's just like a lot of different cards out there that can do it, but it just, none of them are really great. So it feels, I don't know. It feels like they're trying to prevent. Either they knew that these are going to present extremely difficult challenges, and that's why they wanted us to go through that, or they just didn't know and happened to pick a few of the worst skills to deal with. Anyways, I'm not sure. I feel like this is going to be I'm worried that it's going to be a frustrating event, just like the last Light Commander event, because now Corellium and Diamond are going to be even more difficult. So I'm gonna give it my best. I mean, I don't have the event deck. Last event I had the full event deck, and I couldn't do anything. So this event without the event deck, it's gonna be interesting. I might just I might just see how far I can go and then roll with that. So let me know in the comments below what what your thoughts are, what are some of your concerns, and if there's anything that that you want to discuss, or the feedback you want to bring to the team. Just because I am worried that the meta now is making events less fun, like more health. Why more health? Why bring in like even more health? Like, like we've been saying this over and over again. Higher health isn't the answer, but they continue to do so, and so it's gonna get to a point where no one is gonna be able to play. Like no one's gonna be able to play the game, and where are you at that point, right? So my preview of this event is, I am not sure that it's gonna be great. Event deck seems okay, but if you can't mix it with something, then you're not gonna be doing very well. So we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to end it here, but before we do that, remember I'm going to select a couple of winners, but this can only be sent to the US locations. So hopefully you guys have listened to me and only joined in if you are within the US. So we have winner number 1, that Playa. Please respond to me and let me know whether you are you live within the US. And if you do, then contact me in the network app, and then I will collect the information for you. Okay, and then let's pick a second one, and it's gonna be Lucy Cat. So Lucy Cat and that Playa, congratulations! You guys will be earning a Gen Crush popcorn with customized legendary Game of Heroes art. And this will be shipped to you not by me, but by a third-party vendor, and they will. I'll get in touch with you, or please reach out to me in the network app, and then we can discuss. So just message me, let me know if you're in the US. If not, I'm gonna have to select someone else. All right. So the player, let me know if you're in the US. Same thing with Lucy, please. Okay. And so with that, that's gonna be it for me. For this event preview. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful, and look for me for the next time I stream. Is going to be on Sunday. I think that worked out well. So we'll stream on Sunday where we're gonna be talking about the event progress, and then within the week I will look for opportunities to try and see if there's any combinations that could work for making some dent on these bosses. All right, so thank you very much, guys. Take care, and I will see you